Hello everyone, this is Steve and from the Light of Champs. We are doing this hangout on Pokemon Go. Today we're going to discuss Pokemon Go, yay or nay. We have
Yay!
a few young people with us and we're going to do like a one round introduction before I hand it over to Rachel, who's going to host or adjust this debate or discussion. So my name is Steve. I'm forever 18 and I run my own business and I love Pokemon Go. Atika,
I love Pokemon Go too, I guess. I'm Atika. I'm 16 and I play once in a while.
Steven,
Hi, I'm Ivan. I'm 16 and I do love Pokemon. So Pokemon Go or the original games, all is fine.
Sherwin,
Sorry, I don't play Pokemon Go, but I do love Pokemon.
Josh,
Hey guys, it's Josh. I am old at heart and I do not play Pokemon Go, or at least I don't let
Neither.
people know that I play. I don't dare to admit it.
Hey, is that Deadpool on your head?
No, it's Spider-Man.
Oh,
Spidey.
okay. Amira,
Hi, I'm Amira. I do play Pokemon Go, but not as actively as everyone else.
so actually in this row you already see like who's the proponent and who is who is opponents. So Rachel, last one. Rachel is gonna be the host today. Rachel,
Hi, I'm Rachel. I like EVs and I can't pronounce my team name right. I can't pronounce it, you know. I'm like, is it Valor,
what is your
Valor,
team name?
Valor, the red one? You know, it's just
Okay, epic fail. Anyways, Bella.
Chevron or yellow shirt.
I'm wearing the color of my team today, even though you can't really see it. It's light blue.
I need to find something weird. Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel, please take it away.
Okay, do I explain how it works?
Okay.
Okay, so basically what we're doing, we have three speakers on each side, yay and nay. And what they're going to do is each person is going to give a 3-minute speech where they can either give rebuttals or like explain their points. And at the end of each speech, the opposing team has a chance to ask them questions. They can ask a maximum of 3 questions to either clarify their points or like poke holes in their case. So yeah, I can choose the winner, which is great. I think I'm absolutely impressed. Okay, so yeah. Let's start. Yeah. Okay, so up first we have Atika, um, whose team instinct. That's okay. Let's go.
I feel that most games out like games usually promote you to stay inside indoors all day and like to game 24/7, and usually you rarely go out. But then Nintendo has introduced Pokemon Go, which encourages and needs you to go out to play. I feel like this promotes people to be more sociable, and like people who often and usually stay indoors have been coming out just to play this game, and I feel like it's getting people to live a more active lifestyle. And like if you look at my dad, who usually stays at home all day, he has recently been going out and like going all the way to Marina Bay Sands just to catch Pokemon, and I think it paid off. Like he's like constantly bringing my family out to go on walks, even though I don't follow, but it just promotes families to get closer by playing this game. So I feel that Pokemon Go has brought something that's different, I guess, because in fact, actually, Nintendo has been promoting people to go out for quite a while. Like even the Nintendo 3DS, where the more you walk, you get these tokens that you can spend in game. So I feel like Nintendo's direction is, yeah. I'm sorry. I can't think of anything else right now. But yeah.
Make jokes.
Hmm?
Can
Yay!
make Yeah, like 1 minute 30 seconds.
I still have 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yes.
Um, hold on. Like, I thought we were gonna do 1 minute. The more you, blah, blah, like, when people, like, because gamers usually stay indoors, they end up eating a lot of, like, junk food and they end up staying home all day, and it really has a toll on their health. Like, you have a higher chance of, like, developing diabetes, I guess. But, um, at least if you play Pokemon Go, you gotta go out and you gotta walk. Because if you're in a car and you just drive around, those eggs won't hatch because you need to be walking and not running, not taking the bus, I guess. So legit, like you have to walk. There's no way you can evade it unless like you're smart Japanese who need a train for your Pokemon Go phone thing. Yeah,
So, Atika, is that all?
I guess so.
Okay. So, anyone from the Nay team would like to ask Atika any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Josh, what is your question?
Okay. Miss Atika, you did mention that this game has pushed people to go out more often and to kick out the antisocial aspect of what we have become in our generation today, correct?
Yeah.
But this is an individual game, so even if you're going out together, it will be everybody, even though they're together, they're individually playing this game. How is that uh, eradicating the antisocialness of this?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just talking from personal experiences. But like sometimes, like there's once or twice where I went out with my friends to play Pokemon Go, and often we'll be like talking to each other about how we can do it better, how we can play better, or for example, like Steve just now mentioned the lucky egg thing. We will often discuss strategies like that, to on how to play better. And I guess usually when you're out, you want to eat, right? So you end up going to eat, and it's just very sociable for me in that sense. I'm not sure about others though.
Okay, are there any more questions for Miss Atika? Atika. Okay, okay then. So next we have the first speaker of the Nay team. I don't know who it is.
It's
Not-
me.
Josh.
It is not
Yeah.
Sherman.
Josh, Shaman.
Josh.
Oh,
It's not Sherman.
Okay, Josh, Shaman.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Josh.
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 Josh, okay, let's go.
Okay. So I will be opposing the the social aspect of this. And I don't know if you can see, but if you take a look at Exhibit A, okay, I don't know if you can see this, but as you already know, this is a very common problem in our society today, as depicted in Exhibit A. And as it is, we have, if you take a look, anywhere you go on the trains, out at parks, even in the comfort of your very own home, at the dinner table, people are all glued to their phones. There is rarely any human interaction anymore. It's all digitalized. And I guess this game has made it even worse. This game has given people or anti or cyber users an extra reason to be antisocial at the dinner table or even with a group of friends. Because if you were to meet your group of friends at say if I were to meet a group, my friends out and just to go Pokemon hunting, it's very individualistic, I feel, because all of us, even though we're together, we would still be glued to our phones. And because of this game, it gives us more reason not to interact with each other. And yeah, that's my.
You have about 1 minute 15 seconds left. Would you? Oh my god, he's hanging. you like to further elaborate on your points, or show more Exhibit B's and C's?
I feel like my strong point need not have any more time or further explanation.
Okay.
Josh out.
Use the microphone for that.
So would anyone like to ask Mr. Josh out any questions, preferably about his amazing Exhibit A?
Can I?
Yes, Steve. Steve
Okay,
and
I'll
Atika.
first and
Steve.
then I'll pass it over to Atika, okay? Because, like, we should all attack at the same time. Speaker number one of the opposition team, Josh. I'm the type of person who is very into facts and into exhibits, as you point out. But I feel that a lot of evidence, especially from the internet, could be very one-sided. Like if you have shown Exhibit A, I could also show you a photo of Exhibit B. If you can see it.
Exhibit A 2.0.
This is Exhibit B. This is Pokemon Go bringing people together. That is Exhibit A for me. And here's Exhibit B. You can see. So, like, when you brought out the exhibit, it was great. But I just wanna say, like, although it's an individual game, it is highly interactive in terms of its content. I have long discussions without the phone of Pokemon Go with my friends and with random people on the street, believe it or not. Okay, and we could have a conversation without opening Pokemon Go on our phone. So I'd just like to say that because that is totally true. It happened to me just like this afternoon. I was on the bus, and there was this guy who was asking about, like, he was talking to his friend. I just butted in and said hi, and because he was from Team Mystic, Go Team Mystic, and I said, like, oh, we do have a chat, because he said, like, it's so hard to, like, hold the gym. I said we could, like, we do gather and bring down gyms and level up the gym to a very high level so we can hold it for more hours. And then it was totally cool. Like, it was a short 7-minute conversation, but I feel so connected and so weirdly nice, and it was, I didn't know that person. It was just a conversation on the bus. So yeah, I think I had a question. You had a question for Josh?
I think I don't have to ask.
So what would you say to that? Like, Josh, so what do you say to that? So that's my question.
Okay, in regards to what you said about the exhibits, which I feel like I presented very well. Thank you. And you are absolutely right. I can just show you a random photo and it could mean anything. I agree. But it doesn't take you Google just to go out and see how many people are antisocial. We take the trains every day. We take the public transport. Look on the trains. On a row of seats, maybe in a row of seats, maybe 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many seats. Yeah, how many out of that 5, 6, 7 are on their phones? Are on are on their devices. Just today alone on the train, I saw 5 out of 5 people playing Pokemon Go when I was on my way home. And even though, and like what you said, I agree. You can have discussions about Pokemon Go and everything, but what happens when you are no longer on that bus? What happens when you are home? And or maybe because my house, even though I don't play Pokemon Go, I happen to know that there is a Pokestop right downstairs. And
Joshua's house.
yeah, I don't play, but I just happen to know. And
Right.
and what happens when you are away from all your friends and then when you're back home with your family? How many of your family members actually play Pokemon Go? Especially for maybe the older ones where your family members are slightly older and they are out of the Pokemon phase or the era, as you would call it. How
Then you
much
have to ask
interaction
Atika
do you
then.
have it? I mean,
Then
yeah,
you have to ask Atika.
all right, but how much of interaction do you have when you are at home? Just if Pokemon, if let's say like what you say on the bus, you can meet strangers, you can talk, because there's a common ground that eliminates the barriers of conversation between you and that stranger that you meet. But what happens when you are home And if I were to ever download Pokemon Go and play it, and I happen to use the Pokestop right downstairs my house, if how much time am I gonna spend at home and on my phone not talking to my family members if they don't play it?
But what you are saying is a classic example of taking a very big problem and then pointing a very small thing and then saying that that affects it. Like without Pokemon Go, would people still be on their phones? That's I feel very strongly that.
Question.
Okay, so do you think that Pokemon Go is the sole reason why people are looking down on their phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I'm not saying that Pokemon Go is the sole reason, but as it
Yeah, I mean,
is,
before that, did it happen? Do you see that before Pokemon Go released in Singapore? Do you see the same thing happening?
yes,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
excuse
also.
me.
I have to phrase everything as a question.
In here.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna answer this one last part and then I'm done. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
you're right. This is a very small I'm pinpointing this very small thing, as a part of a big problem. I agree. But as it is, the antisocial problem is already so bad because of modern day devices and technology that we have today, right?
Hmm.
But doesn't Pokemon Go just give this an extra reason? As
There's
it
also
is, right? There are so many people playing this game. It was rated the top release game in the US, and as you can tell, millions of people are playing it, let alone in Singapore. So I'm not saying that this is the sole reason or this can be the sole solution to it, but I mean, yeah, or this is the sole problem. But I'm saying this gives people an additional reason to be even more antisocial. Thanking you.
Okay. Is that okay, that was a very long discussion we had there. People are reminded to keep their questions short. Um, yes, yeah, that's all I can say. So next we have Steven. Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh wait, let me set my
uh, I'm sorry, what?
let me set my
Timer,
timer. Wait.
timer.
Oh,
Okay. 1、2、3，开始。
okay. Um, well, I feel that with the release of Pokemon Go, I feel like uh, yeah, the game has I feel that the game has become a very social topic or talking point. But also like the Pokemon craze has also suddenly just started again. Like a long time ago when Pokemon first came out, it was popular, and then like the craze slowly died down. But now with the release of Pokemon Go, everybody or even some people who have never played Pokemon before are now playing Pokemon Go. I feel like it's a good thing because like the Pokemon community or Nintendo, they are becoming more successful, I would say. Like more, I think like they're getting more publicity for Pokemon. Yeah.
So you have about 2 minutes left. Would you like to further elaborate?
uh,
Bring up
what?
any new points, perhaps?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but what I do feel like is like nowadays in our hyper connected world, right? We tend to play computer games, or we tend to sit at home and do other things that is always related to like a device. But with publicity for Pokemon, I feel like maybe some of the younger audiences may go and buy like those nano blocks, like this exhibit B. Yeah, they may be interested and they may actually do something else different, but all of it is related to Pokemon because Pokemon Go has made Pokemon a bit more public and it reaches out to more people. And in doing so, uh, like other merchandises, like maybe storybooks or like the anime, it just gives people more things to do. Yeah.
So you have 30 minutes. Would you like to conclude your speech here? 30 seconds, I mean, I'm sorry.
No, that's all I have to say for now.
Okay. So would anyone want to offer Mr. Steven a question? Sherman, would you like to question your brother?
I
Josh
was
has.
I was honestly still compiling my points, so
Josh has a question.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. It's so fun. I love questioning people.
I'm waiting for it to be the
Okay.
Ask away.
Yes, Steven, like you said, right? It gives people more things to do. But
Yes.
in a negative aspect, it can distract people from the things they need to do. Also, it distracts people from their priorities. Do you agree?
Uh, I would I would say no because like Pokemon Go, it requires you to walk around and to catch Pokemon, right? But usually for like students or I think even for some adults, right? They will do it like on the go. Like if they're going to work or they are chilling at a restaurant, that's when they'll play Pokemon Go. But when they have to do their work, that's when of course they don't play Pokemon Go because they have to sit at that one spot and finish up their work. There is no reason to play Pokemon Go at that point in time. So if you're saying that it is distracting them from their priorities or what they need to do, I feel like it is irrelevant because people will play Pokemon Go outside of what they need to do. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone? Next question. Anyone? Like, okay, no. Okay, the next speaker is Amira.
Yay!
Yay!
Do
So,
you just say yay? Do you just say
Amira,
yay?
you done
Tell
your
me
hand
about
up,
like,
girl.
yay, it's finally my turn.
Okay.
So, so like I said before, I do play Pokemon Go, and like I'm all for Team Mystic, but I have seen
Yay!
people like personal experiences, like actually getting into accidents or like um trespassing, trying to get into areas that they're not supposed to go into, and I think that is a really really bad thing because as like Pokemon Go, the app itself, before you even get um into the game itself, they actually warn you not to trespass and like not to drive while you're playing and everything. But I feel like even after all these warnings, people still actually like they forego the warnings and they would just do what they feel is okay. And as I mean, as long as you don't get yourself hurt, it should be fine. But just Singapore had already, as it is, we already have quite a lot of safety regulations, and with the Hougang accident of where like a lot of people actually jaywalked at the same time just to catch a Pokemon, I'm pretty sure it's an evidence of the possibilities of everyone else jaywalking also just to get a Pokemon. Which brings me to my next point. So I said that playing Pokemon Go makes the players try to trespass, right? And like a lot of these areas, like they may it may be a benefit for like cafes that have Pokestops right outside of their cafe or in their cafe itself, like because people will go to the cafes, but I feel that sometimes not everyone would be willing to spend that extra money at Starbucks or at Coffee Bean just to get coffee, or like at McDonald's even. Like there are plenty of seats, but what if it's at the peak hours and everyone's just there sitting just to catch Pokemon? It totally like from the limited space that the shop already has, everyone starts to pack, starts to get packed, and like it decreases the chances of these shops from actually profiting, because although they have a Pokestop in front of their shop or even in their shop, it does not mean that would actually come to buy the stuff. Yeah.
So is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any questions for Amira?
Steve confirm have.
But people, it's okay. But small businesses like small coffee shops usually put out a rule that you have to buy in order to sit down, and in that sense, a lot of Pokemon Go has helped these small businesses to earn a little bit more by putting up liers near their area, so people will come to sit down and drink. So, of course, big businesses like Starbucks and McDonald's may not regulate this as much, and it may be a nuisance, but at least it's helping the small businesses which have a harder time getting by.
Like, I understand what you're saying, but like I've said before, if even one person thinks that it's okay, and like there will be more and more people who will do it, and as like if I was a customer and I don't play Pokemon a lot and I see everyone else playing Pokemon, I think I feel really irritated because they're just taking up space.
Okay, is that it? Are there any more questions? Steve looks like he's ready to pounce. Steve is like,
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, I didn't have a question, but Sherman probed me, so I thought of a question. So Amira, you said that you have personal experience of getting into trouble, or people getting into trouble, getting into accidents, and you also mentioned that Pokemon Go warns people, like once they own the thing, they get warned, like don't trespass, don't play while driving. So am I right to say that you're actually not blaming Pokemon Go, you are blaming people?
Yes, which
Thank
I
you.
think
You
because
can't, Steve. You can't use that argument.
Shums, it's not your turn yet. I'm sorry. You can speak later. Shums is ready to rah. Okay, thank you. Amira, do you have any explanation for that? I mean, you haven't answered the question, other
yeah,
than saying yes.
like I agree with what you said. Like I'm not blaming Pokemon Go. Like
Mm.
I don't think it's the fault of the app because like it has already warned us, but the fact that although we have already been warned, there are still people who are still trespassing and driving while they're playing Pokemon Go. It just it just shows that no matter how many times the app may warn people, they would still do it if they think like, oh, this accident, like it won't happen to me. But they don't understand that like you're still human, and like if an accident is bound to happen, if you've already been warned, why would you want to um still try to go against your luck?
Thank you.
Sorry, but may I add on to my previous point?
Okay.
It's a question time
But
though, Atika.
yeah,
It's a
question.
question time
It's
though. Yeah,
it's an
okay.
still a question, but some instead of like some people actually try to incorporate Pokemon Go in a sense that they give out refreshments and actually support Pokemon Go's players to come into the building. For example, there was a center that for Muslim converts, and they actually allowed people to come in, and as long as they're quiet and respectful, they didn't mind. So I don't really see the issue. Of course, maybe places like coffee shops are and like private property should not be be entered, but places like that allow players to come in, I guess it kind of allows people to get more exposure in a sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
More exposure to what?
Not exposure, but like the building can attract more people to come in, and like places which were dead were alive again in a sense. I'm not sure how to explain it, but yeah.
I'm not saying that like people are it's bad that everyone's going around like everywhere. I'm just saying like the basis for this is that trespassing is a negative thing. And what I mean by trespassing is by places that they are not supposed to enter. So like maybe public places is still fine. Like going to a coffee shop is still fine. Or hawker center is still fine. But like because I work in a tourist attraction and you have to pay to get inside. There have been multiple times where people have tried to enter just or like stood at our entrance and blocked our other customers from coming in just because they wanted to catch a Pokemon. So that's what I meant by like trying to trespass.
Okay, thanks Amira for the personal sharing. Now we would like to invite the next speaker, T. T
Yay!
so really to attack. Oh my.
Um, Hi everybody. So I have a couple of points to make. Is this a summary of what my teammates have said also, or are we gonna have another one?
Summarize and like talk about the main like um places of conflict in it, like where it has um kind of clashed.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I'm. By the way, I just want you all to know that I'm pretty old to be playing Pokemon. In fact, I was 12 when Pokemon first came out, and I understand the game probably inside out and why I want to play it. But to put this in perspective of this discussion, I'm not going to talk about the game matrix and all that because it's highly attractive. But you know, this I feel that Pokemon Go is not an antisocial application just because, like Atika has pointed out at the start, it is the content for discussion is so vast. You know, there is types of Pokemon, there is how you level up fast, there is where rare Pokemon are, and this content, this type of content brings people together instead of pull them apart. You know, if you're talking about you have a group of friends and you are out there and you are having dinner, um, you know, and one of your friends starts playing Pokemon Go, you know, that's a responsibility issue. You know, you could like, you know, you could just, you should, I mean, all of you should engage in conversation of Pokemon, not play Pokemon Go while you are in front of each other. Um, and I've also seen, I mean, the past few days that I've been walking around, I see families play it together. You know, where kids will ask their parents like, "What is this?" And they'll have great conversations. And couples, even a sweeter side, you know, they hold hands, they walk, and then you know, the sometimes you see the boyfriend teaching the girlfriend, sometimes it's the girlfriend teaching the boyfriend, which is quite cute. And you know, of course, groups of friends, and you know, not just the usual group of friends, but you know, randomly people are connecting to each other because of Pokemon Go. And when I say that, I mean there are groups on Facebook, there are groups on Telegram, there's groups on WhatsApp that bring people together. And you know, sometimes we don't just talk about Pokemon Go. We talk about like any other thing. We talk about like the latest news about Olympics. We talk about each other's jobs, etc. So we have actually pretty interesting conversations in terms of connecting. Let me know if I'm running out of time, okay? And also as well, I think it's a thinking game. You have to plan. You sort of have to plan the way you play the game if you're not just playing it anyhow. So there's a little bit of thought process there. You need to learn how to time manage because I do know of people who play too much. But like with every other game, every and I mean every other game, including Overwatch, right? People overdo it, and it is not the problem with the game; it's the problem with the person. Okay, so before before Sherman comes up with the entire uh, theory that people are allowing each other to cross the road just because they are all together playing Pokemon Go and breaking rules. By the way, I'm against that. I'm against the Hong Kong incident, but I still think it is the maturity and responsibility issue of the individual, or even as maturity and responsibility of the group. So there is no discussion to that. How much more time do I have?
You're at 2 minutes. So that's the end of this speech. Well, the first one to hit 3 minutes. Is there any questions for Steve? Are there any? Oh, sorry. Are there any questions for Steve?
Okay.
Rachel, you're blanked out.
Alright, Steve.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
just ask you a question or something relating to one question you asked before and your point.
Question or
Uh,
statement?
as in like you're trying to separate the players from the game, even though both are related. And I agree that at the game itself there is nothing wrong. It's the players, we the players that actually make it screwed up. But
Thank you.
but do you really think that it is right to set aside responsibility in such a way that like you only blame the people for the actions instead of the game providing the avenue or the opportunities to do such things? Because honestly, if the game did not exist, right, these things will not happen. Everything that happens is a consequence of Pokemon Go coming out.
So is that a statement or a question?
I asked you a question in the middle there.
So you should end with the question, not end with a statement, yeah?
Do you really think it's right to separate the players and the game in that manner?
Let me give you a perfect example. I already thought about how to answer you this. Let's just say somebody starts choking on fish bone.
Mhm.
Okay? One person starts choking on fish bone, and then let's just say 10 people over the next week chokes on fish bone.
Mhm.
And then let's just say 20 people in the next month choke on fish bone. Do we blame the fishmongers and ban fish, real fish, and then start selling only fillets? So that is a question and a statement in itself. I don't think I really appreciate you from separating the two, because it's very key. It's very important to separate the two. You have to see it. You have to separate the two for this discussion, because people are people and the app is the app. The question though is, are there people who want to trespass who use this to trespass? That's the only question. But if there are people who are playing Pokemon Go and trespass because of that, I don't agree with them. They shouldn't do it. But it's not the game. You understand what I'm saying? It's not their intention to trespass. And if people have intention to trespass, whether or not Pokemon Go is around, it will happen anyways, right? It will happen anyways. So
Maybe not so
I wouldn't
much.
say that it's yeah, I wouldn't say it is an avenue, and I definitely don't blame. I definitely cannot say that it's the success of this game, because if there was a very unsuccessful Pokemon Go, for example, and there are only 100 people playing it, nobody would be, even question it. See, so you can't blame the success. You can't blame the game. You can blame the person, the maturity, the thinking. I sometimes I myself, when I'm crossing the road, I need to be consciously telling myself, "You are crossing the road right now. Please don't look at your phone." Right? So this is a personal responsibility thing. So if I could answer your question, yes, I would definitely separate the two, because I won't ban fishermen or fishmongers, and then just start selling fillets and only fillets, and make it illegal for for people to have fish just because a few people choke on the fish bone.
So kids, that is why you must listen to your parents and take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Okay, so are there any more questions for Steve? Actually, we don't have time for questions. I can't mute down. So we have Sherman. Woo!
Alright, it was a good
Yay.
discussion. We got a lot of good points on how Pokemon Go affects each player's socialness with his friends, his family, but also like how it can actually break barriers between your friends, family, or even strangers, people with different backgrounds, because of one common interest.
Okay.
So the game itself, I wouldn't say there's a lot of it, but it's mainly the people that yeah. But one thing that is sad is that there's a social approval to be a public nuisance. So two examples that I have here.
Huh?
Players dashing across the road to Pongo Park to catch what was it, a Snorlax?
I think
Yeah.
it was Gyarados.
Yeah, look at the cars, they couldn't even move much, or like they were blocked up at some point. Then afterward there was like litter and a lot of problems at Yishun Park. The workers there, the cleaners, had to work overtime just to clear out the rubbish from the players. Okay, wait, how do I get out of screen share? Okay, so well, we are aware of these things, jaywalking, littering, but what's going on here? I mean, these people, they know the law, they are educated, and they are aware of how their actions will affect the society and those around them. But and also individually, they won't blatantly jaywalk or litter. So why is this happening? And the reason is because they are with a big group of people, they have a lot of friends or even strangers, and because they are together with other people, they are willing to test the system and commit these acts. Some people might actually find it fun and it's a great story to tell their friends, their family, or even put on Snapchat. And because there's a large group of people, it will be unfair if the government or the police decide to hunt them or punish a certain few individuals. But the same way, they cannot punish anyone. So most, or if not everyone, can actually shirk their responsibilities and they won't have to answer for their actions or the consequences of this. And because of that, it provides more incentive for people to break the rules rather than to follow them. This is not something that we should be teaching or encouraging, Singaporeans in general, especially our younger generations. So, because of this, the problem is the people, not the game, but because of what this game creates the consequences in society, if there were any rules, regulations, or restrictions imposed on the games and the players, no one has the right to complain. And yeah, that is the end of my point.
Can I not do questions because I kind of can I just do a very fast debrief thing? Can I just do that? Because I need to leave. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. So I feel like
Rachel.
sorry. Just
Tell your
yeah,
mom.
yeah, that's my mom. Let's say like 5 minutes. Okay, yeah. So basically, I think
Can you
for
tell her
all,
she's live on the internet?
yeah. So I think for all, basically, it sounded quite weird because you were kind of supposed to say the faults are with the game. You kind of had to say that there were a lot of problems with Pokemon Go and they cannot be solved unless the game didn't exist or even you could mitigate it probably. Oh my god, what's a piece of paper? I swear I wrote it down. And then yeah, so for prop, you all could have said, I don't know, somehow I thought of oh, they'll get a sense of accomplishment when they finish their Pokédex. I don't know, but yeah, I think Op was kind of confused. I mean, coming from a realistic point of view, obviously you say it's a waste of time lah, but yeah, cause let's go. I'll say I'll give it to prop, cause yeah, I need to go. If I find a paper, I'll send y'all. Okay. I'm so bad, Lisa. Sorry, I'll be a very bad vlogger. Bye, friends.
So Rachel has to go. Thank you,
Yeah, so
Rachel,
I need to
for
go.
helping us entire
Bye.
this
Before I get
discussion.
scolded. Hopefully,
Bye.
see you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Okay, guys, we can just carry on the discussion. We don't have to have a winner or loser, but I
Yeah.
think there's certainly some points that we should point out.
Yeah.
And-
Actually, this debate should be the discussion on the effects of Pokemon Go, not the game itself. Otherwise, then, yeah,
Yeah, that's why we
I-
refrain from talking about game mechanics, you see. So
everyone was talking about the effects. You talk about game mechanics, cannot say.
Actually, Steve, I have something to say with which pertaining to your fishbone example.
okay, sure.
You see, right? If I were to yes, you're right in saying that you cannot blame the fishmongers, neither can you blame the fish, right?
Yeah.
But if I mean this, your example, I would say, is flawed because if what has me eating fish got to do with you? But in the same way, you can oppose that by saying, what has me playing Pokemon Go got to do with you if you don't play it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it brings me to the point of trespassing, which was what Amira pointed out. If let's say, because there are stops and there are Pokemon that appear just randomly, around the maps across the countries,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And so, if you don't play the game, and
Yep.
if I were to play the game, and
Yeah.
I were to cross your property, and if I were to be with a group of friends, and then if I were to loiter around your area just because maybe there is this certain rare Pokemon, at your area, then that is in itself being a public nuisance, and it's also in a way trespassing if I am into your space, your area. You get what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah.
And I don't think you should separate the players and the game in itself, because like what Sherman said, I mean, these people who play this are obviously educated, or at least smart enough to own a smartphone and to operate one, to play the game, right?
Mm.
uh, it's I agree with what you said about personal responsibility and everything, but as with the cons, right? Like, trespassing, the thing about the social issues, safety, and being in public nuisances and everything. It's, yes, I
Mm.
agree. It's your own personal responsibility,
Mm.
but but what, okay, if you think about it in this aspect, if I were to trespass and if I were to be a public nuisance
Mm.
because of the game, it's not because I'm neglecting. It's not just because I'm neglecting my uh my my responsibility, but I'm doing it because of the game. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
This game is something, I would say, relatively new, like a relatively new type of game in the market out there. Something that allows you to interact with the map and roam areas and everything, which then poses a threat, which is in terms of trespassing and everything. Yes.
So yeah, I totally agree, and I'm really against people who trespass or or cause accidents because of Pokemon Go. And I just want to reiterate that. But I do feel that the I mean, not I'm not trying to say that the metaphor is perfect. Metaphors are not meant to be perfect. Like, it's just like a reflection, and you can't attack the metaphor, right? But I read this, recently I went through a breakup, as some of you will know, and I've been reading up a lot, just because I want to like find some answers, and I found this quote, and it says this. Okay, it says, "Love doesn't lie, people do. Love doesn't leave people. People do. Love surely doesn't leave you broken and annoyed. That's something only a person is capable of doing. So don't blame love if it's not in you." So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that Pokemon Go is equivalent to love, or it's a true reflection of it. But Pokemon Go is just an app, and if it didn't receive such success like Ingress, there wouldn't be such problems. And I wouldn't even talk about it being an avenue for people to cross the law, because I'm sure these people are really into the game, and um, in many other ways they might have crossed boundaries in their life. So we always have these people, right? So I'm actually focused on the fact that Pokemon Go is not the thing. It's not the thing that caused all these. Like, other games create more antisocial movements. And we should never like put too much emphasis on one thing that caused another, because that's like a fallacy. And also about the point that you make on like how um, I just ran out of my mind just now. Um, what point do you make after the Pokemon Go being an avenue? Okay, well, it's gone in my mind. I'll explain it later if there is any other thing that if it comes back. But if I were to put that poem just now into what we were talking about, it will go like this: Pokemon Go doesn't jaywalk, people do. Pokemon Go doesn't trespass, people do. Pokemon Go surely isn't antisocial. That's something only a person is capable of doing. So don't blame Pokemon Go if you're not responsible. So yeah,
Uh,
so
as in, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you on that point. It's just that I want the audience to learn that even though the players and the game are actually separate entities, but what happens as a result of their relationship with each other, right, has to affect both of them and cannot be targeted at just one. If there are really like laws or restrictions imposed because of all these issues, right, it would actually make sense and it will suck, but people cannot fight against it. There's rules like if like how to say in the US there are laws in some places where people can own guns, some people cannot own guns. If one day as a result of a boom of shooting games in the market, you have people with guns all over the place fighting each other because they played the game and they found it fun and whatever like that. Like it may suck, it may not exactly be a dead relation, but there's still the relationship there, and therefore, if a consequence affects both, it's actually a fair game. So like it's separate, but if something happens that affects both Pokemon Go and the players, right, then in a way there shouldn't be much complaints.
Yeah, I agree on that. Thanks, Shubs.
So do I. Oh,
Oh yeah,
can I?
by the way,
Sorry.
Pikachu
I
agrees
remember
too.
I remember what I want to say. Like, do you know like what happened with like the army camps in Singapore?
Yeah, they banned Pokemon Go, right?
Banning
Yeah,
it,
so like you could actually, I mean, in the later versions or even in the general programming, I realized that they could easily take out locations. They could even put areas whereby Pokemon will not appear, and there will be no Pokestops or gyms. So I feel that this problem of trespassing can be addressed and definitely can be fixed. And it's not a definite thing. Like if your property is like if you, it's not gonna happen in like in Singapore because everyone's so close to each other. But if it's like if you're in the States, if you're living in the States and you own this huge piece of land and there is like a million hectares or something like that, and you realize that people are passing through. Um, I'm not speaking on behalf of Niantic now or Niantic, which however you pronounce them. Uh, but I think spaces and lines can definitely be drawn with that. So I'm totally in agreement. If you are really affected by it, you write to them, or I don't know how this will go, but it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable whereby we can get people not to go to a particular area just to play Pokemon Go.
I agree. And debate aside, this is a question like I think we can all discuss. Should there be limitations to this game? Saying like yeah, should there be limitations to this game or not? And if so, what limitations should there be
This will
to
de-
as preventive measures? Sorry, Shaman.
sorry. This will depend on how society has reacted with this. Estates which have a lot of Pokestops, Pokemon gyms, or places that a lot of people gather at, right? They might actually be affected by but not just the litter, but the noise that happens, especially late through the night. If they decide to complain about it, then if a regulation puts down that people cannot come to this park anymore, it's actually fair because it's mainly for the residents over there.
Mm.
Yeah, it will depend on all the people in the area.
Can
Yeah,
I say something?
sure,
You
go ahead.
you say that, but like I feel that like in these areas, like just outside my house, there's like the community center and like a kopitiam, and even my estate area, there's a lot of Pokestops, like what Shaman said. But I feel like noise wouldn't really be a problem because like the NA team said, um they don't really make a lot of noise because they're on their devices playing. I think the only time they'll make a noise is if they see a rare Pokemon and everybody starts moving location. But I don't think noise will be a problem. And in regards to estate areas, I have seen like certain places like estates or workplaces that have no Pokemon and no Pokestops at all. So like what Steve said, there's really no Pokemon that can spawn at these certain places, and I feel like yeah, that's good. They have made the effort to make sure some Pokemon can't spawn at these areas here. Uh, but with regards to the estate areas, I feel like they are they're not really like private estate area. They're still just like playgrounds or like HDB areas. But even still, people are not making a lot of noise. So I don't see why people should uh condone Pokemon Go at the estate area.
As as in like that's the thing that kind of sucks with rules and policies making is that even though most people may not be like that, right? But if it happens often enough, and if there really is noise, especially in the night when people are trying to sleep, then it will happen.
Yeah, I agree. And I totally think that every I mean, if it affects the neighborhood, um, no matter like how many people is doing the wrong thing, rules should be in place. So I strongly encourage players, if you are playing in the middle of the night, to like not be so loud, which is actually quite I'm gonna agree with Steven with that, because I've seen groups of people like in the middle of the night playing, and they are totally not noisy at all. It's quite weird for so many people to be at such a low volume. For me, I mean, in terms of what I see, like for like I mean, the ratio isn't right for that volume, if you get what I mean. And also as well,
Yeah,
recently I read on Facebook that Hogang, Hogang, whereby they had that
Globe 401.
multiple rare Pokemon spawning. There's a lot of people there,
Mm.
and there's a lot of trash that was left after that. And there was a lot of negativity. And then like today, I just read that like there are Pokemon Go players at 4 a.m. picking up trash.
Yeah,
So there is always like the people who actually want the game to continue, and like they even like do good. They're picking up trash, not their own. They're picking up trash of the people who left already. So they want to carry on doing. They're playing their Pokemon Go with a clean place. They want everybody to do the same. They're practicing it, and they're asking. They're not asking, but they're showing that other people can do it too. And also I want to say, like, NEA has been doing a good job, because they have been putting additional rubbish bins around, like temporary rubbish bins. It's quite cool, because like, it's not a complete rubbish bin. If it's just like a top and a bottom, and then they just put a bag on the inside, it's quite cool. You guys should check it out. It's like, I think they like had a meeting like the week Pokemon Go came out, and then they just designed that thing and then just put it out in the parks, which is really quite cool, like for the populated areas. So yeah, I want to say that there are good people around who's trying to play Pokemon Go right, and they want to play it for long term. That's why they are also trying to keep the place clean. They are not so noisy, and definitely there should be rules, like cars. When you're driving, you're not supposed to use your phone, right? So that is already like that really stops like Pokemon Go players from driving in the car, because in Singapore, if you do that, you get heavily punished for it, right? Heavily fined, or even like get your license revoked, something like that, right? So that's certainly rules, and boundaries that we can set. And with regards to Josh's suggestion on limitations, I think we need a little bit more time to see how this goes, because one is only been in Singapore for a month, and it may die down. It might not. All those people who play with no real um, I'm not saying that they have no real passion for it, but like that it might just be hype for a while, and then the population of players might reduce. So that when you put out a policy which takes like a lot of discussion, if you like do a law on it, and then suddenly all the population doesn't play, what's the point of spending all that money gathering people doing meetings? So that's policy making for you, yeah. Uh, so yeah, we should have some limitations, but definitely maturity and personal responsibility is the best way to go about it, I think. So like for Amira's case, I also like to say, like, we could set rules around um, dinner places or hanging out with friends. Say, hey, let's not play Pokemon Go while we're having dinner. We are here to spend time with each other and talk. Why don't we just keep it aside? In fact, there's restaurants of people putting their handphones in boxes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other opinion, anybody?
I just think that like when people play Pokemon Go, they should be more careful around them. Like I've seen when I was going back home, because I usually walk from Sentosa all the way back to Vivo City, and there was one day like I was going home at 8 p.m. and it was already dark, but there was a really huge crowd of people just rushing over from Vivo City all the way to Sentosa, I guess, to catch a rare Pokemon. And I'm the kind of person who I don't like walking with my like while I'm looking at my phone. So like I didn't have my phone out, but like I saw everyone that was rushing with the Pokemon Go app on, and like at that moment it felt like they were. I mean, it's a nice thing when you get to catch a rare Pokemon for like when you're out without even intending to, but like people should be more careful, and like even like a Pokemon I think stays at a certain area for about uh five 5 minutes. Like it stays at that
It
location.
depends. It depends on the Pokemon. It depends. Sometimes 11 minutes.
And RWS has like they buy Pokestops, so they always put lures on. So Pokemons are always attracted to the area. I don't see a reason why people have to run for just to catch like a certain Pokemon, because if you don't catch it, then you could still find it, somewhere else.
Yeah, so I like to like agree to that like very strongly. Like Pokemon is not your life.
Yeah.
It's very important you see that, and even rare Pokemon. Like so what if you are the first person to get it? So what? So what if you have Snorlax? I don't. I can still beat you in the gym. No, I'm just joking. But
No.
it's not the biggest deal that you have caught the rare Pokemon. If it appeared once, it would appear again.
Yeah.
There is if you're really into the game, you are playing for you're not playing today or only for tomorrow. You're playing for a week or even a month. So if it has appeared before, you appear again, which means you just wait a few days and then walk there again, and before that timing, that kind of thing. So definitely, accidents are not worth any rare Pokemon. Okay, accidents are not worth any rare Pokemon. Anybody else like to add anything?
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I feel like yes, a rare Pokemon is
Have you caught a rare Pokemon?
I don't play.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is something to boast about. It is something to be proud of. And it is definitely something worth going for if you're really into the game, But definitely not at the expense of your own life, or at the expense of others' lives.
Oh, and also I was reading up just now of like the negative effects of Pokemon Go, and I realized that although it's not happening here, or it may not happen anytime soon, but in the US, there has been reports of people falling off cliffs, and I
Oh my.
know that Singapore, like, we're a pretty safe country. We have a lot of barriers and fences that keeps us away from this kind of areas. But like just imagine, what if one day you're walking along like a water waterway, and like your phone drops in there and you really want to get it. Like I could just see irresponsible people trying to get it at the risk of their own lives, and I really hope like it wouldn't happen, because if it had already happened in the US, like due to the game, like there are chances of it happening due to irresponsible people. And I'm not saying that everyone would go to that extent. It's just that like
Just like please be careful.
yes, like they should just be careful while playing the game.
Mm. I'd just like to talk a little bit about the programming, if I'm not being a little bit too nerdy about this. Just want to say, like, there's actually a formula, or what we call an algorithm of how Pokemon spawns. And I think, I'm not very sure, I think it actually spawns near where people are. So I feel that, in fact, and it's not about the like I wasn't reading out on this at all, but like um, I feel that people at Niantic, they are actually working actively on how to make sure that people are more aware. Like, I'm not sure if you had heard of the new update. I think it was last week. It was the power saver function in your phone, and what it does is it actually encourages you to look forward, to walk properly. So what happens is, when you point your phone downwards, it saves power, because power is the main issue right now for Pokemon Go players. They have to like carry multiple power banks around with them, right? So Niantic, very smartly used this to allow people to walk while looking for. Why? Because when you point down, it will black out the screen, and if a Pokemon does appear, it will vibrate. So like I think that is a really great function to. They are telling people to save power, but actually, in fact, I think it serves as like a kill the birds with one stone. What it does is it allows people to like look for while you're walking, so you don't have to worry and look at it all the time. In fact, I was just having a conversation with a friend and said, like, pro players actually don't look at the screen much, right? Like, the people who like don't know how to play look at the screen the whole time. So I think Niantic is definitely working on like more of that, and I would highly encourage them, if they are listening to this local hangout, to keep up the good work and have more updates and give us more Pokemon and more functions. Do you know what I think? And this is just an opinion, right? For the rare Pokemon in the very ulu places, or in the very like foresty areas, um, I feel that it shouldn't spawn as much. And you know what is one function that would actually totally destroy or totally like eliminate people from like traveling too far out from the urban areas? Trading. If we could trade Pokemon, there will be not a lot of people traveling and discovering new places. I mean, there will be some, but because of trading, like a lot of the walking will be eliminated, other than the hatching of eggs. Like, I mean, what I just said, you need to know the game a little bit to understand, but I think this is a valid point.
Yeah, I also heard like soon they're going to implement the trading system into the game. I think I can't remember November. I don't know. Yeah, but for me, I feel like when it comes to hey, that's my laptop. I feel like when it like to answer Josh's question, I feel like for limitations that like what Steve said, that's the Niantic has did come up with something, and they probably still are, but it's still really up to the maturity of the players, and like how would I say, um like they have put up like the posters, like even during the game, when they're telling you like you're going too fast, if you're driving, please don't play Pokemon Go, or like they tell you to be careful of where you're walking or not to trespass. I feel like that's like the most they can do, and Niantic is still really trying to make sure nobody breaks any rules or hurts themselves. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Mm,
Can I
Actually,
confess I actually bumped into a pole once?
Bumped into
Well,
a what?
a pole.
You fell into a pool.
Yeah, I thought
Did you bump into a pool or fall into a pool?
bump into a
Pole.
pole, a pole.
Oh,
Pole.
P
Oh,
P
pole.
O L
If I
E.
fell into a pole, not pool, not POOL. But
I
I
have
also,
oh, sorry, what?
it's okay, go first.
Oh no, I have a second question. Like, you see, now Pokemon Go is a very, very powerful tool, and something that a lot of people, millions of people are using. People open this app more than they do their messaging apps. You know, can can we use this as an educational tool, in a sense that you see there are Pokestops in everywhere, right? Monuments, buildings, and maybe we could use this as an educational tool. Like, maybe a small step would be for a monument if you were to make it a Pokestop. Every time you were to click on it and collect something from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could add like a fun fact. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but because I don't play this game, but yeah, if I'm not wrong, you have to spin the thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe when you spin and collect, you have to read up a fun fact or something educational. Like if we can, how can we add the educational element into this game?
That one, I'm not too sure if the company that made Pokemon Go would do that. Cause one, it disillusions the main message or idea of just Pokemon. So that's one bad thing. If people don't associate them with Pokemon anymore, or they think like the game has other extra junk in it, then it will actually affect the company that made the game itself. Second is, if this is to protect them from any like lawsuits or any complaints whatever if they actually get the facts wrong. I think it's too much extra trouble for them and a lot of unnecessary hassle for the players.
I mean, just saying because it's such a powerful platform now that we can maybe use this as a tool for benefit.
Like
It doesn't have to be.
the idea and concept can be but I don't think it should be part of Pokemon Go. If it's part of another app or a different game run the same way, then I think it could work.
Yeah, I do have to agree with Sherman. Like I heard like the basis of like locations for Pokemon Go started from like Niantic's previous game called Ingress, where they actually did have like different locations, this and that. So yeah, I think if they did have like or if someone else created like a different app where you could uh find these different places and add a bit of information about it, then it could be meaningful. But if you implement it to Pokemon Go, then uh yeah, it kind of just like spoils the game, I guess.
Hmm. Okay, guys. So I'd like some closing thoughts and like for each one, and then we can close up this hangout because we don't want to trail away from the topic because we definitely this is gonna be like a video on our live channels. So we can like talk about this later or play a game after this. But like let's have closing thoughts. Let's go one by one, and then we can close out this hangout. All right. So let's start with Sherman. Sherman.
Okay, I know there are a lot of good players out there, but do know that laws and rules are enacted because of the unpleasant acts of unpleasant individuals. We are all bound by all these strict laws and rules because of such people, and if really things happen, it's because they did too much or we didn't do enough. So please play responsibly.
Okay, thank you. Amira?
Um, I agree with what Shaman says. And we've talked about this almost throughout the entire way of how the problem isn't Pokemon Go itself, it's the players who are playing it. And so I just think that people should be playing more responsibly and really following and be more socially aware that you're not ruining an atmosphere, if you're with your friends eating dinner and you try to take out your Pokemon Go, even if there's a rare creature there, I think you'd rather be spending the quality time with your friends over dinner rather than trying to catch a rare Pokemon. So yeah.
And Josh? Josh, remember to unmute yourself.
Yes. I'm all for the game. I don't play it, but I mean, I think the game is a
You
great.
don't play it.
I don't, but I do have this. Okay, yeah, that's it. I don't play it, but I'm all for this game. I'm all for the concept of it. Just in as with everything in moderation and know your limitations. Yep, that's it.
Atika?
Uh, I'm for the game, and I feel like before we should try figuring out how to stop people from playing Pokemon Go in such an excessive and obsessive way. We should figure out how to get people to start interacting with the people around them and stop looking at their phones, because it's a problem that has been happening for so long. Even like if there were no phones, we'll be looking at our books or newspapers instead, kind of thing. Yeah.
I think can I just say something like, and this is a coaching session. It's a little bit, just a tidbit. You know, I realize that when you're talking to people, you don't actually look at them, and it is inclusive of this hangout. Like you don't look at the camera when you're talking. So I just want you to be more aware of that. And your point is great. Obsessive. What? What do you say? Obsessive.
Obsessive and excessive.
Obsessive and excessive. It's great. So like you do have good points. You just know that like I want you to know that what you share has value, and you're an important member of the team. So like we'll work on that. Okay. And Steven.
Yeah, I'm all for the game. I feel like the game, well, everything, like even many other things, they always do have their pros and cons. And as players or even as people just discussing about it, we should just be responsible. And like trust is easily broken. Like like what Shimon said, there are a lot of good players in the world, but a few cases of like bad people like trespassing or getting into accidents, and that's enough for somebody to step in for Pokemon Go, or like to like implement other policies or limit Pokemon Go in their country. So all I have to say is just be responsible.
Not just Pokemon Go, every
Yeah,
case of law breaking in the country, every rule now is because some guy did something wrong in the past, and there was no law or rule to protect us from it.
yeah, that's like the trusting. Yeah, that's all.
So I'll close out. I just want to thank each and every one of you for being on Google Hangout. I know it's not easy to set aside time, especially on a Friday night. I just want to applaud each and every one of you, and I hope that we do this more often, like important discussions. I mean, this is like I feel that this is a good discussion. Like this is and I want to hear from like you young people, because I'm still young, but young at heart. And I think that we should like show other young people what mindsets, or and our opinions. When they're good, we should share it. So yeah, I don't want to say anything more, because I don't want to show off. But I want to thank all of the viewers out there. There are 2 viewers currently, but like there's gonna be more who's gonna be viewing it, because like one of the most highest search term is Pokemon Go right now. So I want to thank all of you for being here, and if you do like more of our discussions, you can let us know what you want us to talk about. Our website is www.lightofchamps.com. I repeat, that's www.light, L-I-G-H-T, of champs.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter too. So everybody wave goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.